How did my happy baby news end with a process server handing me papers in a building lobby while everyone watched? Why did my husband stay calm, then show me medical proof that he cannot have children at all, before the legal orders started the same day? My name is Avice Larkin, and I always believed I had to protect my life the way people protect a good photo. If the picture looked happy, then it was happy. That was how I lived. I worked as a dental office manager in a small clinic, and I knew how to keep things smooth. Schedules, payments, smiles. I could make anything look fine. That morning in our kitchen, the light was cold and sharp. Graham stood by the sink with his work mug. He moved like he had a list inside his head. He asked why my phone had buzzed so late last night. He said he saw a name on the screen, and he asked who it was. I told him it was a clinic vendor, and that work did not stop just because I came home. I said he should be proud that I cared about my job. He did not argue. He only asked why the call happened after 10. He asked if it could wait until morning. His voice was calm, which I hated more than shouting. I said he was acting like my boss. I said he was always looking for a problem. Graham wiped the counter and set his mug down. I noticed his phone on the table. A reminder popped up, bright and neat, like a warning. It said, downtown 10:10 a.m. I asked what that was. He said it was a personal meeting. He did not explain more. He put his phone face down, and I felt a small sting in my chest. I told myself he was hiding something. That helped me feel better, because it made my own choices look smaller. I told myself I had needs. I told myself I had been lonely. I said to myself that respect follows results, and I had results. I ran our home. I held our family together. If I took something on the side, it was not the end of the world. It was just balance. At the clinic, I stayed busy. I checked the front desk, the appointment board, the supply order. I joked with patients. I smiled until my cheeks hurt. Then I went to the restroom with a small paper bag tucked under my sweater. My hands shook when I opened it. I took the test fast. I stared at it like it could change its mind. 2 lines. The air felt loud. I sat on the closed toilet lid and listened to the building sounds. A faucet ran. Someone laughed in the hallway. I stared at the test again. I thought about Graham's face. I thought about Brent's messages. I thought about the story I had already started telling myself. I washed my hands for too long and hid the test deep in the trash under paper towels. I looked at my reflection and tried to make my eyes look normal. I told myself a baby would fix things. A baby made people stop asking questions. A baby made the world pick a side. At lunch, Nina asked if I was okay because I looked pale. Nina was a hygienist, older than me, and she watched everything like she was counting breaths. She asked if I was sick. I said I was tired. I said pregnancy hormones were already messing with me, even though I had not told anyone yet. Nina raised her eyebrows but did not push. She just nodded slowly, like she stored that moment in a safe place. Around mid-afternoon, my phone buzzed again. It was Brent Halverson, the vendor rep. He visited our clinic with bright teeth and jokes that always landed. His texts were easy. They made me feel chosen. The message was not romantic in a clean way. It was just too familiar. He said he hoped I was okay and asked if he could call later. I looked around the open plan and typed back that I was busy and would message later. Then I deleted the thread. I told myself deleting was smart. I told myself it was protecting my marriage from stress. I told myself it did not mean anything. If it meant something, then I would be the bad one, and I did not plan to be the bad one. After work, I went to the supermarket. I moved fast, grabbing things we needed: bread, fruit, cereal for Evan, coffee for Graham. My mind kept jumping. I felt excited and scared at the same time, and I hated both feelings. I wanted control. I wanted the next step to be mine. At the checkout, I heard a voice behind me. Graham said my name like he was careful not to spill it. I turned and saw him with a small basket. He looked tired, but neat, like always. He said he had finished an inspection nearby and thought he would pick up a few things. He asked if I wanted help carrying bags. I smiled too wide. The cashier looked at us like we were a normal couple. That made me want to break the moment. I did not like being seen as simple. I wanted to be the one with power. I joked that Graham treated our budget like it was a law. I said he was strict like an accountant and that he always checked every little thing. I said it in a playful tone, but I pushed it. The cashier laughed. A woman behind us smiled. I felt warm, like I had won something. Graham's face did not change much, but his eyes went flat. He asked why I needed to say that in front of strangers. I said it was a joke. I said he was too sensitive. I said I was pregnant and he should not stress me out. He did not raise his voice. He paid for the basket items and carried 2 bags anyway. In the parking lot, he asked calmly if I had taken any tests. He asked when I found out. He asked if we could talk at home. I said there was nothing to talk about. I said he should be happy. I said if he kept acting cold, it would be his fault if I did not feel supported. I watched his jaw tighten for half a second. Then it relaxed again, like he was choosing something. At home, Evan ran to me and hugged my legs. I patted his hair and forced my voice to sound light. Graham went quiet in the hallway. He took off his shoes and lined them up straight. He asked Evan about school and listened like it mattered. Later, when the house was almost silent, I went upstairs and walked past the spare room. The door was not fully closed. I saw the glow of a screen inside and heard a soft mechanical sound, like a printer waking up. Then it stopped. The air smelled faintly like toner. I stood there for a moment, holding my breath. I told myself he was being dramatic. I told myself he was probably printing work stuff. But I also felt something else. It felt like a line was forming, quiet and hard, and I was standing on the wrong side of it. I went to our bedroom and lay down without taking off my clothes. My phone lit up again with a new message, and I flipped it face down before I even read it. In the dark, I told myself the baby would make everything settle. I told myself Graham would stop looking at me like he was counting. I told myself I could steer the story back where I wanted it, but I could not forget that reminder on his phone, or the printer smell in the hall, or the way his calm voice sounded like he was already moving on. 2 days after I saw those 2 lines, I decided the truth was whatever I said first. I did not tell Graham right away. I told myself I needed the right moment. I told myself I needed a clean story, like a straight line on a form. If I spoke with confidence, nobody would question me. That was how it worked in my life. That morning, Graham offered to drive me to the OB appointment. He asked what time it was. He asked what doctor we were seeing. His tone was polite, but it felt like he was checking boxes. I said I could go alone because the clinic was near my work. I said he should not miss his inspections over one appointment. I made it sound like I was being considerate. He looked at me for a second, then nodded. In the car, I scrolled through my phone and avoided his eyes. He asked if I wanted coffee. I said no. He asked how I felt. I said fine. He asked if I'd been sleeping. I said not much, and I blamed stress. I did not say the word guilt. I did not like that word. At the OB office, the waiting room smelled like sanitizer and old magazines. There were other women with folders and water bottles. A couple sat together and whispered. I watched them and felt a small anger. I wanted that easy picture. I wanted people to look at us and assume we were safe. Graham sat next to me. He did not touch my hand. I noticed that and took it personally, as if he did it to punish me. He asked when my last period was, quietly, as if it was a normal question. I said the date fast. I said it with a sharp smile, like I was ending a conversation. He nodded again. He did not argue. A nurse called my name, and I stood up. Graham started to follow. I turned and said the nurse only wanted me, not him. I said it like it was a rule. The nurse looked confused, but I did not care. I wanted Graham outside the door. I wanted control of the words. When I walked past him, I saw a corner of a folder in his bag. It was a basic office folder, but the label was clean and bold. It said, Bank. Under it, another label peeked out, and I only caught part of it, like utilities. My stomach tightened. I asked what that was. He said it was household stuff, and that he was organizing things. He smiled a little, but it did not reach his eyes. Inside the exam room, I breathed too hard. The doctor asked questions and typed. I answered like an actress. I said the pregnancy was planned. I said my husband was excited. I said I was healthy. I watched the doctor's face for signs of doubt. She showed none. That made me bolder. When I left, Graham stood up right away. He asked how it went. I said the doctor confirmed it. I said the baby looked fine. I said we were lucky. I added that I needed support, not questions. He said he wanted to know dates because it mattered. I said dates were just numbers and he was making it ugly. That was not fair, but fairness was not my goal. My goal was to win. On the drive back, my phone buzzed. Brent's name flashed for half a second. Then the screen went dark again. Graham's eyes flicked to it. He asked who that was. I said it was a patient reminder system. I said vendors and patients use the same number sometimes. I said he was imagining things. He did not push. He only nodded and turned onto our street. That calmness felt like a wall. It made me talk more, because silence gave him space. I told him he had been distant for months. I told him I felt alone. I told him he focused on bills and rules instead of romance. I said he did not make me feel seen. He asked what he could do. He said he wanted to try. I heard sincerity, and it made me uncomfortable. If he was trying, then I had less excuse. I said he should stop acting like I was on trial. I said he should just trust me. That evening, my mother called. Diane's voice was bright and sharp, like she was already planning. She asked if the pregnancy was real, like it was gossip. I said yes. She squealed. She asked when we were announcing. She asked if she could tell a few close people from church. I said yes, because it sounded good. It sounded like support. It sounded like a shield. My sister Talia came over after work. She wore strong perfume and looked at my belly like it was a prize. She asked if I had posted yet. I said not yet. She said I had to post soon, before anyone else twisted the story. She said if Graham was being weird, I should not let him control the moment. I liked how that sounded. Control the moment. That was my language. We went to a rooftop bar with Cassidy and 2 other friends. The sky was dark, and the city lights made everything feel dramatic. They ordered mocktails for me and made a big show of it. Cassidy said everyone needed to celebrate. She asked why Graham was not there. I said he was working late and that he didn't get it. I said he acted like the pregnancy was an inconvenience. I watched their faces tighten in sympathy, and I felt powerful. Cassidy told me to post a photo right then. She said it would be cute. She said if I waited, people would think something was wrong. I took a picture of my drink and my hand resting on my stomach. I wrote a caption about new beginnings. I added a small line about how not everyone is supportive, but I was staying strong. It was a soft attack. The kind that looks innocent. My phone lit up with likes fast. Comments poured in. People asked if Graham was excited. Cassidy laughed and said he probably looked scared. I smiled and let it happen. I let them build him into a villain without proof. It made me feel safer. When I got home, Graham was on the balcony with his mug. He asked why I posted before we talked to his parents. He asked why I hinted that he was unsupportive. I said he was making it about him. I said I was pregnant and my feelings mattered more right now. I said if he wanted people to think well of him, he should act better. He stared past me at the dark street. He asked if I wanted to call his mother together tomorrow. I said maybe. I acted tired, like I was the one carrying everything. He nodded again. In the kitchen, he washed his mug slowly and set it on the far side of the counter, away from mine. There were 2 mugs now, like 2 countries. I watched him and felt irritation, then fear, then anger again. I told myself he was being childish. Before bed, I opened the fridge and saw a small sticky note near the milk. It said, "Bring forms." The handwriting was Graham's. The words looked simple, but they landed heavy. I stared at it and tried to decide if it was about the baby or about something else. I went to bed and held my phone under the blanket, scrolling through the comments on my post. People were already picking sides, and they had not even met the facts. I told myself that meant I was doing it right. I told myself I just needed to keep the story moving, fast enough that nobody could catch up. The week after the post, I started to feel like my life was split into two screens. On one screen, I was glowing and brave. On the other, I was hiding and reacting. I still told myself I was the good one. I said I was only doing what I had to do. At the clinic, I changed my schedule without telling Graham. It was easy. I was the manager. I moved people like pieces. I swapped a late shift to a different day and told the staff it was because I had appointments. Nina watched me do it. She did not smile. She asked if I wanted her to update the shared calendar. I said no, I would handle it. She asked why I was being secretive. I said she was reading into things. I said she should focus on teeth, not my marriage. She nodded like she agreed, but her eyes stayed steady on me. Later, I saw her phone screen when she turned away. It looked like she had taken a screenshot of the schedule board. I told myself it was none of my business. Still, my stomach tightened. That afternoon, Brent came by with a new product sample and a practice grin. He asked how I felt. He said I looked tired. I said pregnancy was hard, and he softened right away. He always softened for me. He asked if Graham was being supportive now. I told him Graham was acting cold and judgmental, like always. I did not say I had given him reasons. I did not like saying that part. Brent asked if we could talk somewhere private. I said we could not, because the clinic had cameras and people. He smiled and said I could meet him later for a short walk just to breathe. I told myself it was healthy. I told myself I needed air. I said yes. I texted Graham that I had to stay late for inventory and a patient issue. He replied with one line. He said okay and asked what time I would be home. I said around 9. He did not argue. He did not ask more. That made me uneasy. I wanted him to chase me because chasing would prove he cared. His calm felt like a door quietly closing. After work, I drove to the riverside promenade and parked near the lights. The water was dark and slow. People walked dogs. Couples held hands. It all looked normal, and I hated how normal it looked because I was not normal inside. Brent was already there, leaning on a railing like he belonged in a movie. He asked if I was okay. I said yes, but I sounded sharp. He asked if I was sure the baby was Graham's. My chest tightened. I said of course it was. I said he was being paranoid like Graham. He raised his hands and said he did not mean it that way. He said it just felt complicated. He said he did not want to be dragged into something ugly. I told him he was already in it. I told him he could not act like I was the problem when he was the one who made me feel wanted. I said he knew how lonely I had been. I said Graham ignored me. I used the words like tools. Brent looked down at the water, and I could see him pulling away. That made me panic. I said I needed him to be kind. I said I was pregnant and scared. I said I did not know what would happen if Graham kept acting like this. Brent said he would support me, but he sounded careful. He said I should talk to Graham. I laughed and said talking did not work with men like Graham. I said men like Graham only listened when they were shamed. On the drive home, I practiced my face in the rearview mirror. Soft eyes, tired smile. I was good at that. When I walked into the house, Graham was in the kitchen helping Evan with homework. Evan looked up and smiled at me, then looked down fast, like he was unsure. That small thing hit me harder than I expected. Graham asked if everything was okay at the clinic. I said yes, but the patient had been difficult. He asked what the patient's name was, because he wanted to send a note to the office or bring something tomorrow. It sounded kind. It also sounded like he was checking my story. I said I could not share patient names. I said he knew that. He nodded and said he was sorry. Then he asked, calm as ever, why the joint card had a charge for hotel parking. He said it was a small amount, but it was not normal. He asked if it was a mistake. He asked if I knew where it came from. My throat went dry. I said it must be a clinic conference thing. I said vendors sometimes paid for parking and then got reimbursed, and maybe my card got used by accident. I talked fast. I acted annoyed. I said he was stressing me out over $10. I rubbed my stomach like it was a shield. Graham watched me. He did not smile. He said, okay, and he wrote something down on a small notepad by the fridge. He did not do it in a dramatic way. He did it like a man recording a measurement. Then he put the pen away. The next day was the family dinner at a restaurant with a long table. My mother had insisted. She wanted to celebrate in public. She wanted to show off. I wanted it too, because public events were easier to control. People behaved when other people watched. When we sat down, my mother asked Graham if he was excited. Graham said yes, and his tone was flat. That annoyed me. I wanted him to act the part. I leaned in and told a story before he could speak more. I said he had asked for proof and dates and had acted like the baby was a math problem. I said it hurt my feelings. I said I felt alone. People reacted right away. My sister Talia frowned and said he should not treat a pregnant woman like that. Cassidy laughed and said men always tried to ruin joy. My mother said Graham needed to be supportive or stay quiet. Graham did not yell. He did not slam the table. He asked calmly what date I thought conception happened. He asked when the first test was. He asked if I had any paperwork from the doctor. I said he was attacking me in front of everyone. I said he was embarrassing me. I said he was cruel. I said he was not the victim here. I watched faces turn toward him like a spotlight. Maris, Graham's mother, did not join in. She watched me with a still face. She asked softly if we could talk another time. Don, Graham's father, told Graham to keep his voice calm and keep it lawful. He said it like advice, not like a threat. Graham looked down at his plate. Then he said he wanted clear facts. He said he would not fight in a restaurant. He said he would not disrespect anyone. He said he only wanted the truth. I laughed, a short sound, and said he was acting like a robot. People laughed with me. It felt good for half a second. Then it felt like poison. On the way out, I saw Graham's phone screen light up when he checked the time. A message thread title showed for a moment. Follow up. I could not see the contact name. He noticed me looking and turned the screen away. He did not hide it fast. He hid it like he did not care if I saw. In the car, he drove in silence. I waited for him to snap. I wanted him to snap, but he did not. He only asked if I wanted to call his parents tomorrow to share the news properly. The word hit me in a strange way. Properly. Like a plan. I stared out the window and told myself he was the one making this toxic. I told myself I was fighting for my peace. I told myself I was allowed to protect my happiness, even if it meant pushing him down in front of others. But when we got home, I could not sleep. I kept seeing his calm face at the table. I kept hearing Don's low voice telling him to keep it lawful. I kept thinking about that notepad by the fridge, and the way Graham wrote something down like it was evidence, not a feeling. The baby shower was not about the baby. It was about my story. I told myself it was normal to want a nice day, but I also knew I wanted a stage. If people clapped for me, then I could breathe. If enough people smiled, then my lie would feel like truth. My mother helped book the community hall. She chose a place with bright windows and a long wall for photos. She said it would look clean on social media. Cassidy volunteered to plan the games. Talia promised to bring decorations and a cake big enough to be a joke. Everyone acted like I was a hero already, and I let it feed me. Graham did not fight the plan. He asked what time it started. He asked how many people were coming. He asked if his parents should be invited. I said yes, but I said it like it was obvious, like he was silly for asking. He nodded. He did not smile. On the day of the shower, I wore a soft dress that made my stomach look rounder. I took photos from angles I liked. In the car, Graham drove with both hands on the wheel. He asked if I was feeling okay. I said yes. I asked why he sounded so flat. He said he was just tired. I said he always had an excuse. When we walked into the hall, people clapped. My mother waved like she was hosting a show. Cassidy ran up and hugged me and told me I looked glowing. I saw Graham step to the side, near the chairs, like he was part of the room but not part of the moment. That made me angry. I wanted him close, so the picture looked right. Cassidy started the games fast. She said we needed energy. She handed people little cards and pens. She said it was a daddy quiz, just for fun. She asked everyone to guess what Graham would do during labor, what he would pack, what he would say when the baby cried. People laughed and looked at him like he was a prop. Graham stood up when she called his name. He asked what he was supposed to do. Cassidy said he just needed to answer the questions out loud. He said he did not like being put on the spot. Cassidy smiled wide and said it was harmless. Talia laughed and said he was so serious. I saw Graham's jaw tighten. I stepped in and said he should relax. I said it was a happy day. I said he was making it weird. He looked at me, and for a second his eyes looked empty, like he was far away. Then he nodded and answered the first question in a simple tone. People laughed again, not with him but at him, and I pretended it was fine. The next game was worse. Cassidy held up a baby bottle filled with candy and asked people to guess a number. Then she said, loudly, that we should also guess who the baby looked like. She made it sound playful, but she looked right at me like we shared a secret. A few people laughed too hard. Someone said the baby might have my eyes. Someone else said, joking, maybe it would have the vendor's smile. I felt my skin go hot. I laughed anyway. I said people were crazy. I said jokes were jokes. Then I looked at Graham to see if he reacted. He did not. He only blinked once and walked toward the hallway like he needed air. I followed him, fast, because I could not let him leave the frame. In the hallway, I asked what his problem was. I said he was embarrassing me. I said he was acting like a victim. He asked why I let them talk like that. He asked why I laughed. I said it was just a joke and he needed to stop being so sensitive. He asked if I wanted him to fight with my friends in public. He asked if that would make me happy. I said I wanted him to defend me, not hide. He said he was not hiding. He said he was choosing calm. He said he would not make a scene in a community hall. I hated that. I wanted heat. Heat made people choose sides quickly. Calm made people think. I told him he was cold and that he did not even touch my stomach anymore. He said he did not know what to do. He said he did not want to pretend. I said he was punishing me. He said he was protecting himself. We went back inside, and I forced a smile so hard it hurt. I took photos with my mother, with Talia, with Cassidy. People tagged me in stories and posts. I watched the likes climb and told myself it meant I was winning. Maris arrived late. She hugged me with a stiff arm and said she hoped I felt healthy. She looked at my face like she was searching for something. Don came with her and handed Graham a small gift card. Don said quietly that being a father was a job and jobs needed structure. Graham nodded like he understood. Maris watched that exchange and then looked away. Before the cake, Maris said she needed to leave. She said she had a headache. I offered to walk her out. She said no, Graham could do it. Graham walked her to the door and came back alone. He did not explain. He did not apologize. He sat down and stared at his hands for a moment. That night, after everyone left, the hall looked sad. Wrapping paper covered the floor. Balloons drooped. My mother packed leftovers with energy, like nothing was wrong. Cassidy told me the shower was a success and that Graham was just like that. I nodded and acted grateful, but my stomach felt heavy. On the drive home, Graham said almost nothing. At one red light, he asked if I was happy with how the day went. I said yes, because saying no would mean admitting something. He nodded once, like he was taking note. The next day, the school pickup line was slow. Cars crawled forward. Evan came out holding his backpack straps tight. He climbed in the back seat and looked at me in the mirror. He asked why Dad slept in the guest room. His voice was small. He asked if Dad was mad at him. I felt a cold wave of shame, and I crushed it down fast. I told Evan Dad was just tired. I said grown-ups sometimes needed space. Evan nodded but did not look calm. He stared out the window like he was counting trees. My chest tightened. I told myself kids forget things. I told myself Evan would be fine if I stayed strong. That evening, I told Graham that Evan was asking questions and it was his fault. I said his distance was hurting the family. He asked what I wanted him to do. I said I wanted him to act normal. I said I wanted him to stop making me feel like a criminal. He did not argue. He went into the spare room and closed the door. A little later, I heard a low mechanical sound, like paper being eaten. It went on for a minute, then stopped. When he came out, his face was calm again, too calm. Later that night, I walked past the kitchen and saw his phone screen light up on the counter. An alarm rang once, soft but clear. It said, "Paper drop 8:40 a.m." He picked up the phone and silenced it without looking at me. He did not explain. He did not need to. I stood there, staring at the dark screen after he walked away, and for the first time, I wondered if I had pushed him so far that even my tears would not pull him back. The next few days felt like a slow fight with no yelling. I kept waiting for Graham to explode, because then I could point at him and say I was right. But he did not explode. He changed in a quieter way, and that scared me more than anger. One morning in the driveway, he packed Evan's backpack and checked the zipper like it mattered. Evan stood there in his coat, rubbing his eyes. Graham asked if Evan had his library book. Evan said he forgot it. Graham said it was okay, and that he would bring it later. His voice was steady, like a teacher. He did not look at my face much. I asked why he was acting like a stranger in his own house. He said he was trying to keep things normal for Evan. I said he was making things cold on purpose. He asked what I wanted him to do. I said I wanted him to stop punishing me. He said he was not punishing me. He said he was choosing calm. I hated that word. Calm. It made me feel like I was the loud one, even when I was only reacting. I told myself I was reacting to his cruelty. That story helped me breathe. When he got in the car with Evan, I noticed his keys. There was a new key on the ring. It was plain and silver and did not match the others. I asked what it was for. He said it was for storage. He said he needed a place to keep some household things. I asked what things. He said it did not matter. He started the car and drove away, slow and safe, like always. Inside, I walked through the kitchen and stared at the counters, like I could find proof of what he meant. 2 mugs sat far apart, like before. One was mine near the coffee machine. One was his near the sink. It looked stupid, but it made my chest burn. I told myself he was doing it to show me I was replaceable. I told myself I needed to push back. At the clinic, I tried to focus on work, but my mind kept jumping. Nina asked if I wanted her to update my future time off for the pregnancy. She said the schedule would get tight. I said I could handle it. She asked if Graham was coming to the next appointment. I said he was too busy. She nodded, but her face did not change. It felt like she did not believe me. That afternoon, my phone buzzed with Brent's name again. I did not answer. I stared at the screen and waited for the guilt to hit. It did not. I felt annoyed instead. He was nervous now. He used to be easy. I wanted him easy because I needed someone to tell me I was not the villain. When I got home, Graham was in the living room with Evan, building a small toy set. Evan was focused, quiet. Graham asked Evan questions about school and listened. Evan answered, then looked at me like he was checking my mood. That made me feel angry at both of them. I did not like being watched. Graham asked if I had eaten. I said no. He said he could make something. I said I did not want him to play nice now. He asked what I meant. I said he was pretending to be a good man so people would take his side. He looked at me like he did not understand the game I was playing. The next day, we went to the pediatrician for Evan's checkup. It was not dramatic. It was just a hallway with posters about hand washing and small chairs that made adults look big. Graham stood at the desk and asked about school notes, emergency contacts, and pickup permissions. He asked what the clinic needed if the family schedule changed. The receptionist typed and nodded. I laughed a little and asked why he was being so extra. I said it like a joke, but I wanted to cut him. He did not react. He said he wanted Evan's routine to stay stable. He asked me if I agreed. I said of course I agreed, because saying no would make me look wrong. But inside, I felt like he was building something without me. In the car after, I told him he was acting like we were already separated. He asked if I wanted to talk about the real problem. I said the real problem was his attitude. I said he made me feel alone. I said he pushed me away. I said any woman would crack under that pressure. I hated myself a little for how easy the words came, but I also felt proud, like a lawyer in my own head. He asked if I was saying I cheated because he worked too much. I said I never said that. I said he was twisting my words. I said he always made me sound bad. That was my favorite trick. If I denied the shape of my own sentence, then he had to chase the meaning instead of the truth. At home that evening, I walked past his laptop on the counter. The screen was open for a second before it went dark. I only saw a simple message near the corner. It said, "File uploaded successfully." There was no title I could read, just that line. It felt like a beep in the night. I told myself it was work. I told myself he was backing up inspection reports. Still, my hands went cold. Later, I tried to start a fight on purpose. I did it softly at first. I asked why he did not touch my belly anymore. He asked if I wanted him to pretend. I said a real husband would not need to pretend. He asked if I wanted him to lie to make me feel good. I said he was being cruel. He said he was being honest. I moved closer and raised my voice a bit. I said he was stressing the baby. I said if anything happened to the baby, it would be on him. I watched his face for anger. I wanted anger. I wanted something I could show to people. He did not give it to me. He took a slow breath. He asked if I was trying to record him. He did not accuse me in a loud way. He just asked, like a man checking for hazards at a job site. My heart jumped. I said no. I said he was paranoid. I said I was the one who should feel unsafe because he was acting cold. He looked at me for a long moment. Then he asked me to meet him in the parking garage later, away from Evan. He said he wanted a calm conversation. I agreed because I thought I could push him harder there. I thought I could make him crack. In the parking garage, the air smelled like concrete and old oil. The lights buzzed. Our footsteps echoed. I stood with my arms crossed and started first. I said he was ruining my pregnancy. I said he was humiliating me by acting distant. I said he was turning his parents against me. He asked if I had anything real to say. He asked if the baby was his. I felt heat rush to my face, and I used anger to hide it. I said yes. I said he was disgusting for even asking. I said if he kept asking, I would take Evan and go to my mother's. He did not step toward me. He did not touch me. He did not shout. He said he would not argue in a garage. He said he would not threaten me. He said he would not fight for attention. I told him he was weak. I told him he was acting like a robot again. I said he would regret this cold act when he ended up alone. I expected him to flinch. He did not. He looked at my belly once. It was not a tender look. It was a measured look, like he was seeing an object and checking its label. Then he looked back at my face and spoke in the same calm voice. He said he would handle it properly. Then he turned, walked to his car, and drove away without another word. I thought Graham wanted to talk. That was what his message sounded like. He said we should meet near his office because it was easier before he picked up Evan. He kept it short, like a calendar note. I told myself he was finally ready to apologize. I told myself his parents had scared him. I told myself my silence after the garage had taught him a lesson. I wore a soft coat and walked into the office tower lobby with my chin up. The lobby smelled like coffee and clean floors. People moved fast with badges and laptops. I saw Maris near a column, hands folded, face blank. My stomach dipped. I acted like it was fine. I waved like we were still family. Graham stood a few steps away from her. He looked neat, like always. His eyes were tired, but his posture was straight. He did not come close. He asked if I was okay. I said I was fine, and that I was glad he finally wanted to be normal. He nodded once, like he was checking a box. A man in a plain jacket walked toward me with a folder. He asked my name. I said it, annoyed, because I thought he was lost. He asked me to confirm my address. I said it again, louder, because people were nearby and I felt watched. He said he had documents for me and needed me to accept service. He held out the folder. For a second, I did not move. My brain tried to turn it into a joke. I asked Graham what this was. I said he was not serious. Graham said the man was doing his job. He said I should take the papers. I took them because my hands moved before my pride could stop them. The folder felt heavier than paper. The man said he would note the time, and that service was complete. He said I could read everything inside. Then he walked away like I was not even a person. I opened the folder right there because I refused to look weak. I saw the words at the top, sharp and official. I saw my name and Graham's name. I saw a section about temporary orders and a section about finances. My mouth went dry. I told Graham this was cruel. I said he was doing this in public to shame me. Graham said I had used the public first. He said he had not posted, he had not yelled, and he had not threatened me. He said he was handling it properly. I told him the baby was his, and he knew it. I said he was just trying to punish me because people laughed at him. I said his mother had poisoned him against me. Maris did not speak. She looked at the floor. Graham reached into his bag and pulled out another envelope. He did not wave it. He held it flat, like a form at a clinic. He said he was going to show me something and that he wanted me to listen without drama. He asked if I could do that for 1 minute. I said I did not need his rules. He said he was going to show it anyway. He slid out a few pages and turned them so I could see. I saw a clinic name, a doctor's name, dates, and a summary line that made my ears ring. It said he could not father children. It said it clearly, like a fact, not an opinion. He said he had known for years. He said it had been tested more than once. He said it was private and painful, and he did not share it because he was not ashamed, but he did not want pity. I tried to breathe, but my chest felt tight. I said he was lying. I said he could have faked a paper. I said he was manipulative and cold. Graham said he expected me to say that. He said the documents had verification details and that his counsel had already confirmed them. He said if I wanted to fight the truth, I could do it through the process, not through yelling in a lobby. I asked what he wanted from me. I said he was acting like I was a monster. He said he did not want revenge in the way I imagined. He said he wanted protection and clarity. He said the filing was for divorce, and the temporary orders were to stop spending games and to set rules for contact. He said the parenting schedule for Evan was written out so Evan would not be pulled back and forth by emotion. He said he also filed to challenge paternity for the pregnancy because it could not be his child. I told him Evan needed me more. I said the court would see I was the primary parent. Graham said he was not taking Evan away. He said he was making sure Evan had stability and that exchanges would be calm. He said the order said communication would be limited and in writing unless it was about Evan's health or school. He said that was for everyone's safety, including Evan's. My hands shook as I flipped the first page again. I saw a line I had missed at first. It said the temporary terms were active now. It said they were effective immediately. My throat made a small sound I could not control. I looked up at Graham and waited for him to smile. He did not smile. He only stepped back, like he was giving me space, and he asked Maris if they should go. Maris nodded, still not looking at me. Then Graham turned toward the glass doors, leaving me standing there with the papers pressed to my stomach like they could hold me up.